Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a review of a set that one of you mentioned. I reviewed the big box of Rameau operas on Erato, which is fortunately still available at time of me making this video. And one of you mentioned, well, you really ought to talk about Franz Brüggen's Rameau opera suites, the suites from the operas, the dance pieces. And, oh, you're so right. And here it is. 4 fabulous discs of music taken from these operas. Now, French Baroque opera, as Rameau did it, was not, as I pointed out in that video, it's not just a bunch of arias or songs or sung things all the way through. It was a combination of sung bits and danced bits. There was a lot of dancing, a lot of ballet in it, because France, of course, has the great ballet tradition in our Western civilization, and that comes from these original ideas for ballets. Ballets were mixed with songs, operas were mixed with dances. There was no clear delineation between them. And so these works by Rameau, who was one of the genius orchestrators of all time, one of the great composers originally for the orchestra, who really focused on color and rhythm and oh my God, he was wonderful. All of his operas are full of dance music. And so it's only logical that you can take that dance music and make a beautiful suite of dances, an overture followed by, a whole pile of dances, lots and lots of them, because these things are a couple hours long, 3 hours long, and they have a lot of individual numbers. So here they are. And what you get, it turns out that Franz Brüggen, who was the conductor here, he was actually a recorder player who became a conductor, and he specialized in what we call period instruments or authentic instruments or historically informed performance, using instruments of the period and trying to recreate the style of performance of the period. And it's very interesting because Brüggen was not a period instrument guy aesthetically. He was a romantic. He was a huge romantic. He was an interventionist. Back in those days, Rameau's day, you didn't really have conductors. I mean, you did for an opera. You had someone who had to sort of lead the whole thing. But conductors for orchestral concerts and things like that, they just didn't exist in the way that they do now, meaning, some sort of egomaniac who imposed his will on everybody uniformly, and they all had to do what he told them to do. It just didn't work like that. But Brüggen is one of those. Brüggen is a romantic egomaniac who had lots of ideas that he wanted everyone to do, and they did them very well. And he made several discs of opera suites, actually 4 of them. 2 of them were on the Philips label, and 2 of them were on the Glossa label. And Glossa very smartly licensed all of this stuff and put it together in a 4-disc little boxlet, which is it's such a great idea because they're wonderful. They're the best Rameau opera suite records out there, probably. They're full of color and character and verve and athleticism, everything the music has, and great tunes. It's just great. So what you get is, let's see here, you get a selection from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Rameau opera ballet type things. They are Les Boreades of 1763, Dardanus of 1739, Castor et Pollux, Castor and Pollux, the, twins who founded Rome or whatever they did, from 1737, Les Indes Galantes from 1735, A Cant et Cephise from 1751, and Les Fêtes de Hebe, her, 1739, Naïs from 1749, and Zoroastre from 1749 as well. He was busy that year. And oh my, the music's wonderful. The sound is great. The orchestra is the orchestra of the 18th century, which was Franz Brüggen's own ensemble of period instrument performance specialists. And the orchestra for these things was quite large and very colorful. You get, timpani and trumpets and flutes and horns, and you'll be amazed at the color of Rameau's orchestration, just how delightful these pieces are and how he characterizes each dance with its own particular timbres. I mean, it's just brilliant music, some of the great music of the Baroque period, and this is really the performance to get. So I'm really glad that you mentioned this. I want to thank you for bringing it up. I'm delighted to be able to talk about it and give it a little love, because it's a wonderful set and it's available and it's just top notch in every respect. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.